Hi, I'm Jim Gordon with another edition of Small Cap Interviews on location at VRIC, Vancouver Resource Investment Conference here in Vancouver. Our next guest is the publisher and co-founder of Digest Publishing and a best-selling author. Nick Hodge is in the spotlight next. Nick Hodge is joining us right now, as I mentioned, co-founder of Digest Publishing, publisher of the Daily Profit Cycle, and founder of Hope Family Office, also co-author of a couple of best-selling books. Nick, it has been a year. Welcome back.
It's a pleasure to be here. The year goes very quickly.
It does, doesn't it? We're right across the street from VRIC, as I mentioned. You are speaking there. We'll get into that. But let's talk about the energy over there, what you're seeing, what you're hearing. I am hearing great things. You take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, it was shoulder to shoulder when the exhibit hall opened on the first day at 10 a.m. And so I think people are excited. There's an incoming administration in the U.S. that it's going to be more advantageous to permitting and regulatory things that affect mining and other forms of energy as well, you know, nuclear and oil. So I think people are excited about that. You know, commodity prices have been very buoyant since we last spoke. Mm-hmm. Copper went to $5 and then remains well above $4. Gold's at $2,700. And so I think people are hopeful about the commodity prices and still wanting to see the reaction in the equities, which hasn't come yet, but that's an opportunity, I believe, because it will come.
Let's talk, as I mentioned, VRIC across the street. You're going to be speaking there several times, doing some workshop over there. What can people see if they're going over? And tell our viewers as well where if they can't be here, obviously, but they can find out more about what you're going to be saying over there.
Sure. So my independent workshop was about battery passports. And so starting in 2027, the European Union is going to require these, right? When you buy a car now, you look at the window sticker and it tells you all the information. Soon that window sticker is going to be replaced by a battery passport for electric vehicles, where you'll scan some QR code or they'll have the information on the passport that tells you where these minerals and metals came from that went into the battery, lithium, manganese, cobalt, et cetera. What was the emissions profile, et cetera. Japan started implementing these requirements last year, and as part of the Inflation Reduction Act in the U.S., in order to get your tax credit for the electric vehicles, the components and the minerals have to be sourced from North American free trade agreements. So that's the sort of the backdrop of the governmental requirements, and now it's the onus is on the companies to implement this, right? Which is a very profitable investment opportunity. That's my whole thesis. So mining's still antiquated. We still see a lot of fraud. You still see headlines in Reuters and AP about people taking delivery of painted rocks, I mean, for millions of dollars. So this is the implementation of data tracking really from drilling and initial exploration all the way to production. And it's a really big undertaking because you can imagine everybody that's involved, from drillers to fuel suppliers to smelters to shippers. And we got to really bring this into the digital age to track it, because mining is still really a pencil and paper thing in many cases. Yeah. And so I don't know where you want to go for there, but that's the backdrop. And so even the metal exchanges are requiring this, like the London Metals Exchange is requiring emissions data for their aluminum contract, and there's some new types of futures contracts that are popping up in the commodity space that are going to require this stuff. So there's different investment avenues inside that whole big picture. Happy to talk about any of them.
Please do, because before we get to that, it's interesting you were saying about you have to continually evolve and you want to bring the mining industry into the digital age. You said 2 years, 2028, is that what you said?
2027 for the European Union. Yep.
For the European, when do you see it here?
Well, you know, like I said, to get your tax credit already in the United States, the metals have to be sourced from North American free trade agreements. Right. So really it's a function now of, it is, I mean, it's not when, it is happening now, and it's evolving. So, I mean, probably just the best way to give you a snapshot is to talk about a company that I've invested in.
Please do.
So one is called MineHub. And really this is bringing it into the digital age. So MineHub uses computers, obviously, tracking, a blockchain to help companies figure out their emissions profiles, and they partnered, this is the important part, with some of the biggest companies in the world. So one of their main customers is Codelco, which is the largest copper producer in the world, right? And in the past couple of years, they've gone from just 20 companies on their platform to well over 100, because they onboard all of Codelco's partners, what I was saying, fuel suppliers and things. The technology came from and was funded by, you know, Wheaton Precious Metals and ING Bank. So these are very real players. Sumitomo has given MineHub cash. They've partnered with Southwire, which is one of the biggest largest wire manufacturers in North America. And so this is very real and happening now. And now they're even getting into China, because we know how dirty the metals production is in China and the emission situation there. So they're starting to partner with smelters there. And the stock is responding, which is the most important part for you viewers and readers, right? This is all about investing. So we financed the company at 22 cents, and this morning it's well above 50 cents, I mean, in less than a year. So, and there's other investments that we're doing in that vein, but, MineHub's just going to continue. So I mentioned exchanges. I mentioned the London Metals Exchange. There's a new company called Abaxx that has a new metals exchange based out of Singapore. And just this month, January 2025, they launched a nickel sulfate contract. First physically settled nickel sulfate contract ever. It was picked up by Reuters. It was picked up by Bloomberg, had articles about this. And soon they'll have a lithium carbonate contract. The first physically settleable lithium carbonate contract outside of China, right?
Yeah.
This is a big deal. And so in order to get those inputs to say this metal qualifies for physical settlement on our platform, Abaxx's platform, you got to track all those things that I was just talking about. And so Abaxx has purchased 19% of MineHub. And I think that's going to be a very real expansionary event for MineHub, because now all the people that want to get their metals on this new exchange are going to eventually have to do some business with MineHub.
Yeah. It's always great when you talk to somebody a year later. Last year, the thing that stuck, one of many things that stuck with me talking to you a year ago, was your thoughts on uranium. Where are your thoughts now, 1 year later?
Yeah, so I'm still bullish on uranium. We're in the middle of a uranium bull market. In the year that's lapsed since we last talked, we had a pullback in the uranium space. In the past 2 years, uranium prices ran to over $100 a pound, and now they pulled back to around 73. So on the technical chart, like if you're a chartist, you look at it, it's presented a beautiful cup with a handle, and to me that's very bullish technically for the price to go back up now that the handle's been completed.
Right.
The other thing that's happened in the past year, or other things, because there's so many of them, is we've had this AI has been everywhere.
Yeah.
We're talking about it, data centers, how are we going to power this? And you've seen major announcements from all the big tech companies, right? Microsoft wanting to bring 3 Mile Island back online, Amazon announcing partnerships with small modular reactor companies. And so that's really driven the news cycle, and it's really gotten people interested in the uranium space. So it's not just uranium stocks now. We have small modular reactor stocks that have done really well, like NuScale and Oklo. And there's still geopolitical tensions all over the world, right?
Yeah,
so
sure.
The U.S. was set to ban Russian imports of enriched uranium, and Russia preeminently banned exports. So you've got that going on. You've got Kazakhstan having soft production numbers. So all the fundamentals are building. And oh, by the way, if you look at the projected supply-demand curve for the next, 10 or 15 years, there's expected to be still a shortfall until 2040. So all that to say, we had a pullback in the past year, and I think this is a really great entry point, or a re-entry point if you've been around uranium for a while, to deploy capital into the space, specifically in safe jurisdictions and North American producers and explorers.
To wrap up, let's talk about the rest of your year. We're early in 2025. Give us a little breakdown of what you will be doing this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, I will be investing. We'll be doing a lot of private placements. That's what I've been really keen on lately, is educating people about what they are and how to do them and why they should be doing them if they're able. We'll go to a bunch more conferences. We'll go to Beaver Creek. We'll go to New Orleans. Most exciting for me, if I may, is, we've been doing a podcast, me and my partner, called Bizarro World. We've done it for free for the past 5 years. We did 300 episodes for free, and we just put part of it behind a paywall to start 2025, and that's been going really well. So I've seen people here on the floor that enjoy that podcast, and I didn't know it was going to resonate so much with people when we put it behind a paywall, but we've seen really great response.
Oh, excellent.
So
congratulations.
Me and my partner just talk about what we're investing in, and we have a bunch of paid newsletters, and we use Bizarro World to sort of tie them together, right? Because we have all these different themes and styles of investing. So investing in Bizarro World, I say, is what I'm excited about this year, because it's certainly a bizarro world.
Yeah, and listen, there's a zillion podcasts out there, but if you're doing one well, I think people find you.
That's right.
If they're getting educated, getting help. Let's just mention again all the other things that you do. Co-founder of Digest Publishing, you're also publisher of the Daily Profit Cycle, and of course, founder of Hodge Family Office. Anywhere else people can find you? Social media?
Nick Hodge on Twitter, or digestpublishing.com to see all the products that we publish, not just myself, but my partner and the other editors that we employ.
Nick Hodge, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.